Hey, what's up YouTube? If you guys are curious how to remove the ITBs from an RB26, today's video we're going to go in depth and show you everything you need to know how to remove the individual throttle bodies. So by doing this video, I want to give everybody the personal confidence of knowing, hey, I can conquer the cold side of this engine myself. I've already done a video showing you guys how to do the hot side, the turbos and all that. So I want to have like a full tutorial on how to basically strip this thing all the way down to the bare block. That's the way I'm going. I haven't watched any tutorial videos. I usually don't even read the factory service manual. I just like to take stuff apart. So let's do it. If I can do it, you guys can do it. And if you guys didn't see the intake manifold video, I've got a full video. I'll put a tag in the upper part of the screen for you guys, as well as a link in the description down below if you guys want to catch up on that. So intake manifold, fuel rail, that whole part. If you guys haven't watched the last video, I did pick up a new workbench for the garage. It's going to make the disassembly of all this type of stuff so much easier. These are actually very easy to remove. Once you get the intake manifold off, you simply just pull right off. And there's basically on the back, there's like these little dowel pins. Let's slip into this area and kind of hold it all together. Let's take this middle one off here. And you just slip right off. Super simple. I'm going to put them all in order on my bench so they all stay together. Make sure they all go back in the same orientation. You guys a good overhead view. This last one, a little different perspective. So here's a good look at those runners so you can see down to where the valves are. I don't know if I think the camera's going to focus in that far. But you can see everything looks really clean, very clear. No gunk issues. I don't see any oil or any blow by. So yeah, that's looking nice. So we've got everything over here on the bench. Got our ITBs here. Let's take a look at the underside of them. So you can see how that sealant is in there. So it looks like they're kind of sealed on both sides. So you get sealant on the front more heavily and then a little bit in the rear. These are the Remade in USA ITB kits. I had UP Garage install this stuff. And pretty cool, it even says Nissan on the stamped into the housing or into the mold. And I did notice there's a little bit of, like on the spring, a little bit of flaking of that green material. But otherwise, after a little over a year, these things look awesome. And you can see there's these little set screws here. So as you adjust that set screw, that adjusts how much this little arm kind of preloads the throttle plates. So I'm going to put all this stuff exactly back where it was because everything's perfectly sealed. So that's the front of the engine, middle, and the back of the engine. But let's keep going. We're going to take all of this stuff off today. So we're going to take off this top piece. We're going to take this off, all the hoses. I want to get this whole side of the engine all the way down to the bare block. That's what this video is. If you guys like that type of stuff, smash the thumbs up and let's get into it. We're going to slip the gaskets off to start, and then we'll start taking things apart. So I want to do a kind of a quick look at everything before we start removing stuff. So as far as removing like these this runner plate off or whatever it's called, you got just a bunch of little nuts and bolts all around. And the idler control valve chamber, this was not bolted down, but usually you'd have a bolt underneath here that would have to be removed. And then these vacuum lines we can just leave. I think this all just connected in one piece. I might take these hose clamps off and pull this stuff off so I've got a little bit of extra wiggle room. I'm going to take really good note and video of all these lines, kind of where they're going, which one goes where. So we got the big line with the cover there, smaller line down below, and yeah, I want to get all this crap off today, so let's get into it. put you guys up and let's start going and removing stuff here pretty quickly. So these are shorter ones in here, just for a mental note for myself. It's a long one, another long one. Take this last nut off. Little copper crush washer under there. Must be from this. They must have dropped one. So here's a good look underneath at everything with all the hardware removed. That's what you guys can see. Actually, I missed one right here. I gotta pop that out. There's a bolt underneath here on this bracket. Let's undo this, and then I think that'll give us enough wiggle room. Because that's kind of holding all these water lines in place here. And with this water line bracket kind of out of the way, I think that'll give us enough height to slide these coolant lines down out of the way. Like that. And then I think we can just pull the whole assembly up and out. That's what I'm thinking. This up, and this should just be able to pull right out if I'm looking at everything correctly. Which I'm probably not, but we'll find out here. HKS gasket's getting stuck in the back. It's got one little vacuum line that needs to be taken off right here that's connected to these chambers. And I missed this electrical connection back here. There's a little electrical connection that goes to, I don't even know what this sensor is called, but we'll disconnect that. There we go. All right, now this can go over to our workbench. So if I'm looking at the engine bay and I'm imagining the RB26 sitting over here against this firewall, and I'm thinking to myself, how would I remove this entire piece? I'd probably do it the same way I did. So I imagine UP Garage, they leave all this stuff in the car because how are you going to get to it with that piece on top of it? And they probably just slip it out just like I did. So there was that rear coolant line that I was showing you guys, which is right here. So make sure you disconnect that. Other than that, as far as getting this off, I left everything connected onto it. The only thing I did is just, like I said, this little bracket that holds this piece to this. I just unbolted that so I could slip it down, and that gave me enough room to slip everything up and out. But yeah, looking under here, it's kind of cool, so you know everything looks. So you've got your, I believe your thermostat is in here, in that neck. And then you got water outlets that feed through that go like back to the turbos and stuff. So this feeds all the way back up through here. It's kind of cool to see where that stuff goes and how it branches off. So it branches here. One feeds off into the firewall. Another one comes directly out of the block. Feeds off into the firewall. So that's probably your, I don't know which one's hot and which one's cold and how it exactly works, but we're going to get all this disconnected. So I'm just going to take a second to look at everything in good detail. How it all comes together to the little T. You got your knock sensors. Little elbow out. This goes down to the oil cooler for the factory oil cooler here. So water line in, water line out. Other side goes up to the T. I think that will pretty much show me everything that I need to see. Should be able to disconnect it all from there. So let's start unplugging some stuff here in a sec. I'm going to take a second to organize all my hardware. So I've got the hardware that bolts this to the head, and then I've got all the hardware for the intake manifold back here. So I need to put them in some Ziploc baggies and get everything organized and labeled so I can have a snowball chance in hell and putting this thing back together when it's time. But yeah, looking at it underneath, with that, all those pieces off, it looks way less complex than what I thought it was. It's still very intricate, and I'm still gonna have to, review my video notes in order to get this thing back together, but I can easily, I have faith that I can do it. Alright, so I've got everything labeled, ITB runners for this big kit. I think that's a good thing for it. And then intake manifold for all this stuff that I took apart with the fuel rail. And it's pretty cool looking at this kit. You can see that there's like little, I believe those are for like air passages that come up to this chamber looking at it. And then there's also, because this is vacuum line, and there's also water that goes through this as well. So yeah, that's pretty cool how it all goes together. I wouldn't want to try to take all this apart because it doesn't need to be. But yeah, here's a good look at everything for you guys. See how this bottom piece is all put on here. This is all done by Remade in USA, so looks very nice. All the zinc hardware, the zinc here. Yeah, just kind of a cool in-depth look at this stuff for you guys. Let's look at it from the back. See, you can see how those little air runners come through here. Must be for idle or something. I don't know exactly what it does. And when I was pulling this off, these are the little dowel pins that were getting stuck up on the HKS gasket. And then this looks like a water galley here that passes through. Let's take a look right here. Yeah, and then everything else all sealed up. Pretty cool. So I wasn't sure exactly what this piece was, but I knew it had something to do with the idle air control valve, with the way the vacuum lines go to the chamber to the idle air control. But this is the idle air control regulator is what it's called. I had to Google it to see exactly what it was. If you guys want to disconnect it, there's just 10 mil here and here, and then this just pops right off. Vacuum line that goes to here, and yeah, pretty simple. And looking at this lower water, this looks like a water galley of some kind, because you can see there's RTV here, and then this is that water outlet on the other end. So this is just like some lower water galley. Don't want to take any of that apart because it's pretty much all new. But if you guys like this kind of content, smash the thumbs up button if you think the this whole setup and how everything works is cool. If you like this type of content, give the video a thumbs up. It really helps out the channel, and consider subscribing. We're on our way to rebuild the RB26. We're saving like 15 grand. We're about halfway there. So yeah, goal is to get this thing off to a machine shop, get the Nitto 2.8 stroker kit put in there, and some type of two-step oil pump, and E85 with a single turbo, and it's going to be badass when we're done. It's going to take a while to get there. I need your guys' help to be able to accomplish it. So let's do it together. Let's finish the RB. The biggest thing I'm excited for, though, is having this new workbench out here. It's nice having something that's waist height to work on my stuff and keep everything organized. It's stainless steel, so I can just wipe it off. But I need to go ahead and take some of these parts, put them over here on the shelving. I need to organize that so I have space to lay this stuff out. And let's keep moving forward. Taking this stuff off, I made more of a mess. I got coolant spilt everywhere. As I start taking the rest of these water lines off, I'm gonna get coolant everywhere. So let's get these off, and then I can spray the garage floor down and keep disassembling this. We're almost there, home stretch, guys. And I'll put my Instagram up on the screen if you guys want to follow. I usually update some Instagram stuff about a week before I upload the video. JDM right hand drive. You guys follow me, check it out. And I've decided just to reassemble everything. I'm just going to set it all together in one piece on the shelf, so I don't have to worry about losing anything or misplacing anything. So that'll be a nice, easy way to store this setup. I'm going to work on getting all these water lines off here. Should be good. Get these hose clamps pretty much already loosened up here. Nice thing, these are all new. I had Eric replace these water lines at EP Garage for me. I'm gonna spill some coolant probably. Nope, crammed in here, that's for sure. I'm going to disconnect this from the oil cooler inlet, and then that'll give us basically the ability. I'm going to try to remove everything in as much all together in like one piece as I can. And I think I'll definitely be sending this thing out to Remade in USA to get that restored. And then let's come up front. We'll take this hose clamp off and water line here off, and then we should pretty much be able to take everything off in one piece. It'll make it a lot easier to put it back together. You guys feeling me on that? And I've got one more that I missed that's right underneath the oil cooler, this other water line that comes up to here. We'll pop that off real quick. I don't know if you guys will be able to see it if the camera will focus, because I got a lot of crap kind of in the way here. Once we pull this off, be good to go. So we'll be able to pull everything off in one piece, all the way up around, all the way back to here. So this is going to be really cool to put it all back together and just easily go right back on. Got one little 10mm bolt I got to take off. There we go, guys. Let's pull this all off. Super simple in one piece. Look at that. So I thought this car did have a sub harness, which it does. Got all this stuff down here that goes to like the starter, all the different sensors, just kind of all tangled up in here. So we can get this off. Just have to disconnect the knock sensors and we can pull this tire harness assembly off. Let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to go ahead and just take the sensor and everything off all in one piece. rather than disconnecting the sensor and having to deal with those little spring pins. It's more of a hassle. This will be the easier way, save some time. Well, that fresh zinc hardware still looks incredible. Okay, now our sub harness can be lifted out and away. Might as well grab this intake manifold gasket off of here as well. So here's a look at the sub harness and all the water lines and vacuum lines. So when I started the project, I was actually kind of feeling overwhelmed on the cold side, thinking, man, there's just so much stuff over here. It looks very complicated. It's actually not too bad at all. Going through it piece by piece, I don't think it's any more challenging personally than taking the turbos off and like doing the hot side of the engine. It's pretty simple. So to finish up the last part of today's video, I want to get this little neck off for the thermostat. I want to get the oil filter housing assembly off with the gasket and get this, what is this? Whatever this type of sensor is. I don't know if that's like an oil pressure sensor. I want to get that off. And then probably take off this rusty T. I need to get a new one. So you got a few 12 mil bolts to get this assembly off, and then there's a few bolts around this neck. This will pop off. I'm going to hit a little bit of PB Blaster in these old bolts that are going into the block here because they look like they might be a little seized. Here for the thermostat. I know these are just recently taken off, so they'll come off easy. Just gonna tap this with a little bit of a tap with the rubber mallet. Break that RTV off. More coolant, there we go. It looks like I got a little bit of RTV that's gunked up and causing the thermostat to be a little stuck. Go ahead and scrape a little bit of that out. More coolant. Alright, let's crack these bolts loose here. I'm just going to use a little hammer. Tap these loose. And we've got one more nut actually right down here and we got to get off. And then we can get this assembly removed. Got to go with a normal wrench. Should be able to give this a little bit of a whack, break that gasket. Should be able to pull this right off. Oh, there we go. So let's get a little bit of a look in these areas, guys. So this is where the oil filter housing assembly was sitting. So you guys can see in there kind of what it looks like. And I was going to try to remove this. I'm not sure if that's pressed in there. That kind of looks like an outer bushing to me. I'm not sure if that's threaded, so I'm going to leave that alone for now. And this is inside the thermostat housing. You guys get a little peek in there too. But other than that, like, the block looks pretty clean. RB26, that's my serial number on there, if you guys can see that. Yeah, but I'll definitely be scraping this paper gasket off. And let me know what this is. It's some type of oil pressure thing. I'm not sure what I'm going to have to do there. I'm going to have to do some research. And I'm not sure, does this come off or is it pressed in? I'm not sure about this. I would like to get these restored if possible. I guess I'll talk to UP Garage on these. And other than like there being a little bit of leaking and corrosion around the water pump, everything looks pretty good to me. So the next step for the next video. Maybe I'll just do a quick video on how to remove the front parts of this after I get the head off, but I want to get the head off on the next video and spin the crank by hand and see those pistons moving up and down. I think that'll be a cool Instagram video and cool video for the channel. We're gonna have to clean the floor again. It's all covered in coolant again. Second time today. My bench is covered with all kinds of crap. I need to organize all this stuff on my shelf again. It's nice to have this big workspace that I can wipe down, but I need to get the stuff over there so I have room to put the head on the shelf. But it's super nice out. It's super sunny out today. I think I'm gonna chill out here in the driveway, get a little bit of sun, clean up the garage, and call it a day today. If you guys like what I'm doing here on the channel, subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up. That'll definitely help with bringing in revenue to rebuild the RB26. I need about 15 grand to fully finish what I'm doing with the turbo and the engine rebuild and everything, and I'm about halfway to goal with my money I have saved in the account for it. So if you guys could do me a favor, if you think this video is helpful to the RB community, if you have Skyline friends or RB26 friends, please share the channel. I'd really appreciate it. Definitely will help out. And let's grow the channel and keep moving forward together. I'm going to go inside and edit this, and it's my father-in-law's birthday, so I need to take him out for his birthday party tonight. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching. You guys have a good one. Peace out. Bye-bye.